Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. I have a vowel heavy rack and I'm just looking at ways of getting rid of a lot of vowels. Cowrie looks alright. Wow, a bunch of vowels again. And the UW combo, not ideal either. I have the out prefix, not sure about outweigh, don't think so. I have U on the rack, Y-O-U, and I think Wooty might be good. Okay, opponent bingo, so I'm really behind now because I'm not going to score fantastically here. But my main objective at this stage is to, well, I'm looking at sorting the rack out. This is 26 and it mitigates the damage an S hook could cause to some extent. I'll go with this. Still vowel heavy. Pia. Yortia onto an A. Leaving an X hotspot there. Patio. Really want to get rid of the UY, so PUY would achieve that aim. I have a topi as well. Just looking at 6-letter plays, maybe out an outward, outpay. 36. Can't outpay. I thought it might be good. Let's go with pouty, maybe, yeah. Gets rid of the U and the Y. Yep. Go with pouty. Now, I draw the K, but still not quite bingo territory here. And I still trail a bit. So, I've got to look to be scoring well with the K, I think. Reliance takes the S, so that's still quite hot for a word using SO in it and getting the trip covered. Now, uke is good and dog 28. KY is fine, but nothing for going above the U. Okay, Okay, opponent has scored quite well with the J there, 30 points. No four-letter J play that I can see with these tiles. In fact, Benge is the only one that comes to mind. Any four-timer through the O? Dacoit doesn't quite. Dacoit. If I had a Y or an I, that would have been a nice score. What about a 27 with this rack leave? Okay. I think well, I've got Drake here for 28. It's a slightly better rack leave than Dark. Mind you, there are 3 Ds to come. It's still a better rack leave. I'm going with this. Oh, okay. Very far from a bingo here. Close to Benge now, so maybe hang on to the B and the N and hope to pick up an E on the next turn for Benge. Zag doesn't seem to play anywhere currently on the board. Caddy onto the I looks fine. Yeah, okay, opponent's taken that spot. Caddy for 34 looks fine, and then hopefully pick up an E for Benge. Yes, I do draw an E. So I have a 39-point play up my sleeve. I also have scoring potential in the Z and the X. 38 points if Benge is blocked. I have Bonza onto an A. That doesn't work. No I for going under the Q. And no hot Z spots here. Okay, opponent plays Quail. That doesn't offer me anything. I have Xenon onto an N for future reference. And I have Cozen here as well for 32, but I think Benge looks okay for 39. The Z, I've duplicated G's now. Not ideal, but still enough flexibility to be able to score. This E quite useful for bingos now. I have Z, and then I can place my M in front of it next turn. Mog is good, M-O-G-G, I think. Quail takes an S, so pretty hot in row 15. Still have a 38-point play with X here. These two blanks are still in the bag and possibly on opponent's rack. So blocking this E, I think, is fairly high up on the to-do list, and it seems like opponent's pretty close to bingoing, so I think I will play Z here. Yeah, I think this is the right thing to do, even though the rack leave is pretty awful. And 32 is a decent score as well. I draw another duplicate, so I've got duplicate O and G. OXO is good. Just looking at ways of unduplicating or undoubling the G's and scoring at the same time. Okay, opponent bingos, as I thought he might. Or she. I think Becky is a woman. XO looks okay. Does give back some score to opponent, especially if they have an O. Actually, I don't like that. It's going to give back too much score. Well, X, yeah, the rack leave is pretty poor, but 38, it's hard to pass up. Now, do I have a word ending in IX that helps to address the balance of the rack? No, I don't see one. Co-mix would be good if the G was a C. Nog is good. 18, much better rack leave. But 18 versus 38, wow. I don't know, I think I've got to go for score here. XO for 42. Hog is good, HOGG. I now have 3 G's, all of them. Okay, opponent scores well with Fremd, so still retains her lead. I don't have an E for utilizing this hotspot, which is a real shame. But I can play Hog here with 1 G for 24. Pity I don't have an E for Moped. That would be quite nice. Moped, no good. I don't see a 5-letter play here. Okay, opponent takes that spot. I have Ado at a minimum for 34. The D is the only... Actually, the A goes after she as well. But any other consonants, not the P, not the M, not the G. So just the D and the A. Wow, if I had an E, that would I'd have a really good score there, but I feel there is a 5-letter play here that will score better than ado. Poda or apod. No, poda isn't good. It's coda, C-O-D-A. Let's try apod. I think that's fine for 38. Maggie's. Is that a... No, I don't know about Maggie's. I have the miss prefix, misgauge. I do have an S for going at the end of quail. Images, that would score quite nicely. But will opponent get in there first? And look at these two blanks, they're still looming. But is there a bingo through the C perhaps? I do also have the M still for front hooking Z. Miss. No. I have the ism ending. Maggie's. I don't think... Now, there are no bingo lanes through these floaters unless you're going to connect an A and an N, which would be pretty impressive. Okay, opponent. Oh, I thought opponent bingoed there. Maggie's does play, but not sure. Yeah, it is good. I draw the... Wow, I draw both blanks, but no vowels. So I do have wines, I guess, but I'd want to get the V doubled if I was to play here, or at least the W or the H. What about... looking at... opponent plays the V. Oh, that's interesting, because the V... the V combines quite well with these letters when you remove the F. So, play of interval or ventail or something like that. Now, if I was to play vanish, that gives opponent a hook, so there's no way I'm doing that. What's the best way of... It's quite a good move there by opponent. Now, C takes a P. Just looking at ways of blocking. I suppose I could just play Shiv. Or Shav. Shav is good as well. 27. Is there a better score though? And there's no P, so opponent can't. I suppose opponent could play there. Wow, this is an interesting move. Opponent's made me think, yeah? I could just play Pav for 6. That kills all bingo lanes. Yeah. Wow, that's a really strong rack. Reliant, Trenail. No, I don't think anything plays there now. Yeah, I needed to do that, I think. Or something similar, I'm not sure. Now, what should I do with this rack? Opponent said, nice play. Okay, opponent's played Rain. I have, well, I don't know if I better play something sure. And opponent should go out. I have Finn. Wow, what a close end to the game. I was under time pressure, so I thought I better get something down here. But the remaining tiles just looked so flexible, I didn't know what to do. Yeah, because parallel to Nick Tate and then also the V danger, so I thought I have to try block both. Now, okay, opponent goes out with a let, and that was the end of the game. Now, let's have a look at what we missed. Wow, that was close. So Cowrie was best from my opening rack. Then opponent had Creolian and Acrolean through the O, and Irenical from the I. Okay, opponent went with Reliance. Woe for 26 was best from this position, surprisingly. Jay-Z for 41 or Jay-Z's for 49. Opponent went with Year. Now Pouty, I thought I did play Pouty. Oh, at K11. Oh, of course, making Ute and Oi. That would have been better. Wow, it's funny how you just see a hook, the O, and then you think, well, that's where I'm going to play. Payout was also available at K2. Payout and ret. Okay. I went with Pouty in this position, and justs for 50 at H1 was opponent's best. Making Spouty. Wow, big play. Opponent went with Jut. Now, Icat for 31 with a good rack leave. Trake for 28 with a decent rack leave. Yeah, pretty close. Not a huge amount in that. I just want to see 4L. Icat. Nah, I don't like the idea of opening a trip lane for an extra 3 points. So, still happy with Trake. Now, opponent had ISO for 20, but ISO's for 33 at this stage, making Trakes and Reliances. So that would have been a good score, but burning both S's. Now I've got this clunky rack to negotiate. Caddy for 34 was best. U-social for 70, that's another one of those 5-vowel 8-letter words from the list I've learnt. Tricky to spot though because of its letter order. Quite strange to have the EU in the beginning. Now Benj for 39, hanging on to the BN for the E worked. And Boxy also good onto the Y. So similar equities, but Benj a little bit better. Al Soon opponent had on the rack, but no spot for it. Anols for 36, opponent went with Alp and No just to balance the rack. Moggy for 24. Okay, that's quite nice. Zex, a very powerful rack leave, ZEX. So I do quite like that, even if it does give back a bit of score. I went with Z, keeping back the M. So I thought it was a kind of a two-step thought process as well. And I recognized the danger of the E just floating out in the middle of nowhere. For bingos. Now, Elations for 68 was the only bingo through the T. And Goog, that's quite nice for 36, getting rid of both duplicates, both sets of duplicates. Exo for 42 scored better, but the rack leave was bordering on horrendous. So I do like Goog. Where was Goog? 1L. Oh, look at that. Gelations and Goog. Beautiful. I'm surprised I didn't contemplate the hook. Yeah, that's a lovely play. With EMX, you're bound to score well on your next turn. Exo for 42 was the top score, though. And then Fremd, nice play from a very unhopeful looking rack. Now look at this. Gogga gets rid of all the G's at 12B onto the A. From B12, yeah, 12B. So it wouldn't have opened the trip. I quite like Gogga. What did I go with? Hog, okay. 24. So it was up there with the better scores, but look how low down on the equity list it ranks because of the inflexible rack leave. DHM not a whole lot better, but it was better. So Gogga. Now, opponent had Deet for 40 at 1L. Delations and Deet. Very nice. And it looks like we both overlooked the hooks for elations. Deb for 28, still a good score, but it gave back a decent play. Gompa and Pagod, and Dogma. I knew there were fives there that were just, at least Dogma I should have spotted. Anyway, Gompa, look at that, for 45. Pagod, 44. Okay, I still scored 38, so pretty good. Now, no.240, although this one's in the wrong spot. Opponent had a top score of Hogan from Hog. Oh, that's quite nice. I didn't know that 5. Hogan, very nice. And a decent rack leave. Went with Nick Tate. Probably recognised the danger of the sea with 2 blanks unseen. So I probably would have done something similar as well, because the sea was just really useful if your opponent has a blank. Maggie's was the only bingo, and Egmas and Quails. No, 1K. Oh, Egmas, look at that. Wow, nice play. But obviously Maggie's scored more. And Hogan again, best for 34. So opponent had Nervate and Veteran. And so that didn't... The board was really tight now. Just a P gets you out of trouble for bingos. And now we start approaching the end game. Opponent played VE from this rack, which was a good move because she needed a bingo to win. And the rack leave was really strong. This position was a bit more challenging with the overlap, but it still presented a conundrum for me with no vowels on the rack. So vor for 2B. 2B vor, no, definitely not best given how flexible this rack was. And I suppose if I had the time, I could have gone through it and looked at all the anagrams and seen what worked and what didn't, with entrail, reliant, and retinal, and trenale, and I don't know how many others there might be. So that was my thinking. Play Pav, kill the V lane, and really frustrate this column C. On the off chance that there might be something. Although having said that, the A and the E both play there, so it didn't really frustrate it that much. I don't know. Hard to work it all out when you're under time pressure. And then opponent played Rain. Just see what... Rain relations. Finally the hook being utilised. And Shaw for 20 was best here. And Light for 15 to go out was best. Through the Y at M4. Light there. It's kind of hidden. Opponent went out with Let, and that was the end of the game. So, a good game, I thought. But, just those 5s. It just shows you how important it is to learn your 5s. Dogma being an everyday word, I should have spotted that. But Pagod and... what was the other one? I'll have to go back and have a look. But, the 5s are invaluable. They're so important to learn because they really help with keeping the score going when you don't have bingos. Anyway, hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.